And again, these little ones are just placeholders, so don't worry about those. They're just to give you an idea of the effects chains. And finally, I've got this effects chain, which has just a delay. So this is a delay again, with just the feedback, delay time, and amount assigned to effects tracks. I've got a filter. This is a kind of a bit of a complex effects rack. If you see, we've got I've got a low pass, a high pass, a band pass, and then one that I call voice, which is kind of format driven in a way. And then I've assigned various parameters to the effects rack. So you see, if I move filter type down, if we open up the chain, you can see that it switches between each of the 4 different filters. And if we open up hide the chain, if we open up one of the filters and move the cutoff, you can see the cutoff goes up and down, and that does it for all of them there. So the band pass, it'll cut it off like that, and just see I've tweaked it a bit with that. And the voice does a strange thing. Have a play, you'll figure it out. That's good fun. Finally, here, this is a fun one. This is a Redux with a reverb, and this is kind of really screws the sound, because you can reduce the bitrate and apply heaps of reverb at the same time. I've also put a sidechain compressor in at the end of the chain, and what happens here is you can see the audio comes from FX3A delay, so the audio comes straight from here, and then so the reverb tail gets affected by the original source. It's quite an interesting sound to play with, and I'll show you what that sounds like when we get through with it. So those are my 3 separate effects chains. Again, this is my modified version of trying to get my actual live set that I use out there into something which is legible for people who don't understand my messy way of doing everything. So it's taken a while, but I think it's pretty straightforward from now. So these 3 sets of effects, the way that we send things to these effects is by, I'm just going to hide the ins and outs. The way we do that is by utilizing the sends. Now this is another kind of complex chain in the whole thing, but it's really handy way to quickly fire things to a send. So if I bring up the sends, that one's up a wee bit, we don't want that. So let's say I've got let's get a bassline playing. Let's stop all the clips and we'll just pick this absolute first one here. So I'm going to scroll down to these sets of 6 that mash everything together here, and we can see some audio coming through. So if I send this to send A, I'm going to take the volume right down of the channel, so there's no volume coming through now, but I'm going to send this bass track to send A by dragging up the send A parameter. If I drag it out, you can see it's a knob, make things a bit easier to understand. So I drag A up. So this is my send A here. Right, so as I bring it up, I'm just having a look at that. You can see the volume coming through here on send A here. So that's all good. If I open the ins and outs, we can see the audio of send A is going to FX1A loop, which is the first one of the first set of 3 audio tracks that are chained up. Okay, so if I bring that down, you see it takes down all the volume from these 3. But again, if I bring it up, so the sends are there to be used as a way of firing the audio off to one of those 3 sets of 3 effects. So if I was to bring the send B up of the bass, see how it's now coming through the effects 2 set of 3, and if I do it on send C, it's coming through the final set. So that's it's a bit of a tricky thing to get your head around, but basically, I mean, all you have to remember is turning send A up will send it to the first set of 3. Turning send B up will send it to the second set of 3, see FX2. Turning send C up will send it to the third and final set of 3. And if you don't want to send it to any, you just bring the volume back up on the bass channel. So what I've attempted to do with this is map this out on the keyboard so that at any stage you can quickly push a combination of buttons and send any element of the tune to any one of those three. For example, let's say I wanted to send this bass line that's currently playing to the first set of three, which are here. So I want to send this audio to these set of three effects. What I'm going to do is push a combination of buttons which I've assigned to send A and the volume at the same time. If I go into the keys, you can see I've assigned an exclamation mark, which is Shift 1, to the volume, and capital Q to send A. So capital Q is just below exclamation mark, A is just below Q, and Z is just below A. So that kind of, if you look at your keyboard and look at the one key, the three keys underneath that will send the audio to the three different sends, and the actual one key will turn the volume off and on. So if I hold down Shift and push 1, the audio stops. If I hold down Shift and push 1 and Q at the same time, it turns the volume down of the track and sends it to send A, which in theory sends it to all these three audio tracks here. Likewise with 2, so I just pushed it again. So I'm holding down Shift and pushing 1 and Q at the same time, and it switches between the two. I'm going to do it again with the A key this time to send it to send B instead of send A. So I've done that, and let's go along and have a look, and now it's sending it to send B. And you can do this with all the tracks. I'll just drag these out a bit so you can have a look. So I could do this with the kick. I'll just start a kick loop in, turn the ins and outs off, make it play the main bass line for you. So we can see the bass is already going through FX track 2. Let's say I want to send the kick through A. So I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to push the 2 key. So you can see that the 2 key is assigned to the volume. It's the at symbol, which is the Shift and the 2 key. So you need to hold down Shift to do any of these routings here. That's just an easy way of doing it. It's also good because it prevents you from accidentally hitting a key and cutting the audio or sending it somewhere you don't want it to go. So I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to push the 2 key and W, and it's going to turn off the volume and send the kick track to kick 2. So now the bass is coming through this set of 3 effects, the kick is coming through this set of 3 effects. And to turn those off, I'm going to go Shift 2 and W again. So it's brought the volume back up, and I'm going to go Shift 1 and A, and it's brought the volume back up on the bass. So that's all good. We'll just stop the audio there. That's the way I've routed it to those 3 separate things of effects, which is quite fun and good. But I haven't really applied any of the effects yet. So what I'm going to do is show you the effects in action that I've got on these channels. But to add an extra element, and this is the last chain, I promise. On these tracks, I have dummy clips. And dummy clips are clips similar to these loops that we've got over here. So they're loops, but they have absolutely no audio. They're there specifically to just automate effects. So for example, on this FX1 loop, which has this beat repeat, I'll just hide that. You can see I've assigned the repeat time and the beat repeat off, which just turns it off and on, to macro knobs in the audio effect track. If we scroll down and we get down to the scenes which are called dummy clips, so here we have scenes called dummy clips, you'll notice there are no more clips over here and where all the audio tracks are, but now where all the effects are, we have all these clips to play with. And these clips are just blank, so if we open them up you can see they've got no audio, but they send parameters to the actual effect which is on the channel. For example, let's go quarter. Okay, so this quarter, what this does is it tells the beat repeat to start looping at quarter note intervals. And the way it does this is if we open up the clip down here and we go to the drop down parameter envelope menu, we've got auto effect rack and repeat time. You can see the repeat time is at a particular value which loops it at a quarter. So to show you what I mean here, I'm going to stop all the clips and we'll get a bass line playing. What should we use? Swagger's fun. Use that. Swagger. Alright, so let's play the main bass line.